We need to talk about this iPad situation. So a couple months back, I bought the iPad Pro 2020 version. That's the new version. I got the Apple Pencil. I got the Magic Keyboard that everyone's been raving about. And I never posted an unboxing video or anything like that. I did get footage of the unboxing just in case they wanted to use it. But I've been using this for about 3 months now. I've been using it to help manage and plan my YouTube channel, my business, even in my life. And there are some pros and cons, and I want to give you my honest review of the Apple iPad Pro 2020. So this is the 11-inch iPad Pro 2020. That's the smaller of the two models. I got the one with 256 gigabytes. I felt like I needed a little more than, the standard, but not quite as much as like a whole terabyte or anything like that. So what do I actually use this thing for? First of all, the app that I use most often is GoodNotes. It's a note-taking app is what it is. I have multiple notebooks, multiple sizes and templates. I use a tabloid size dot grid for my YouTube video planning. I open up a blank page and I start planning out my videos in my own handwriting right there. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked by how much I really enjoy handwriting my notes. I sometimes will script my videos word for word, or at least script the intro and the outro, just to make sure that I cover everything that I needed to say. I also use it as a digital bullet journal. And if you're not familiar with what a bullet journal is, that's out of the scope of this video. But I have been using the bullet journal method as a weekly planner for the past 5 years or so. And so once I got this about 3 months ago, I started doing it digitally. And I don't know that I would ever go back to using paper. And of course I use it to check in on Facebook inside of my Video Pursuit Society Facebook group and my free Facebook group. I schedule posts in there as well. Plus I use it to watch YouTube videos and order my groceries from Walmart and Aldi's. Now I talked about using GoodNotes to kind of plan out my YouTube videos and my podcast episodes. But as far as managing that content and when it's going to get posted and what keyword research has been done and what the keywords are going to be and all that kind of stuff, I actually use Notion for that. Notion works in your browser on a desktop, but it also has a really great app. So this is essentially my editorial calendar, my content calendar, and I put things in here. My assistant can see what's going on and schedule things out and knows exactly what is actually on our content calendar. I also use Notion to manage a whole bunch of other stuff in my business as well. And a lot of times I do open it up here on my iPad and kind of fiddle around with it. What's really nice about the whole concept of the iPad is all of these things that you can do from anywhere. I often will sit on my couch and do this kind of admin type of work or the creative work of planning a YouTube video, and I don't have to be sitting at my desk at my computer. And that is by far one of my favorite things about just having an iPad in general, but also having an iPad Pro is something that is big enough and powerful enough to do all that kind of stuff. Now, let's talk about what I don't use it for. I actually don't really use it to edit my YouTube videos. I do use LumaFusion if I have a quick video or something I'm just kind of working on for fun or for another social media platform or something, but I don't sit down and edit a whole YouTube video on my iPad. If I had to, I certainly would, and I would use LumaFusion. If my desktop computer died today, I absolutely would just use my iPad and use LumaFusion to edit my YouTube videos. I just prefer to sit at a desk with a bigger screen for that. I also don't record my podcast episodes on it. I know that some people do that. I just prefer not to do it that way. So as far as the iPad itself, I am really happy with the size. Like I said, I got the 11-inch instead of the 12.9-inch. I wasn't sure I needed something as big as a laptop, and I'm really happy with this. I think this works out really well. and it's big enough to do the split screen with things, and I use that function a lot, by the way. I also have a screen protector for it called Paperlike. I'll put a link in the description to that. And it's like a normal screen protector, but it has like a matte finish, and it feels a little bit more like paper. That's why it's called Paperlike. And because I use a Mac computer and I have an iPhone and I have an iPad, I can use AirDrop between those three devices. If I take a screenshot or a picture on something, I can just really easily share it to one of the other devices. Like, it's really fast. Now we have to talk about this Apple Pencil because I freaking love this thing. This is the Apple Pencil version 2 or whatever it is. It's very sleek. It's minimal. It's just so easy and so beautiful. It just magnetizes, is that a word? Magnetizes to the top or the side, depending on how you look at it, so that it charges. It's never gone dead, and it really writes like a regular pencil. It's a really, I think, underrated, the idea of having a pencil as your pointer, as your mouse. Is kind of game-changing, honestly. Now, I wasn't totally sure if I would actually like writing digitally on a tablet. I've heard people say, oh, it's amazing, and I was like, I don't think so. I'm really surprised by how really enjoyable it actually is. It's kind of satisfying. And it's like the best of both worlds because you can write something, you can copy and paste it into another document or on another page, move it around, resize it. So you have the analog handwriting, but you also have the digitalness of being able to kind of move things around and manipulate things. You can also just turn your handwriting into text as well. Now, the Magic Keyboard is another story. Yes, I like it. As far as keyboards go, it seems like it's really small, but everything is spaced really well. It's a whole lot easier than using the keyboard that pops up right on the iPad itself. And so it is really easy to type. I was a little bit skeptical whether I'd be able to actually sit on my couch. I don't know if you do this, but I like to sit on my couch and cross-legged until my feet fall asleep and do some work that way. I was skeptical whether that would work because it's so small. Like, would I be able to balance it on my lap? And I can. It works fine for that. The problem with this is I like to do a lot of writing and holding this in my hand. And I can't really do that if it's on this. It's awkward, right? Like, no one wants to write like that. So what I do is I take it off. Great, wonderful, love the whole magnetic thing. I close the actual keyboard case, and then I can just set my iPad right on top. But this isn't attached. It's not secure, and that drives me crazy because sometimes I think I'm like picking up my iPad, and I'm not. I'm picking up two individual items, and if your brain is not prepared for that, the iPad could slide right off. And it drives me crazy. Why couldn't you figure out a way to magnetize the iPad to the outside of the Magic Keyboard so that you could just use it like this and not worry about having these two things sliding around? If this thing was truly magical, there'd be a way to open it up and fold it back or something so that you didn't have this whole slidey, unstable iPad situation. Now, I mentioned that I don't use my iPad to edit my YouTube videos unless I'm doing just a one-off project here and there, but if I was going to, LumaFusion for sure is the way to go. It's by far the most superior video editor out there available for the iPad and the iPhone. It rivals some of the desktop video editors out there as well. So I've queued up that video here walking you through how to use LumaFusion. You can see it in action, see the iPad in action, how it works to edit videos for yourself, and I'll see you over there.